In fact, Olive and I had a fairly unsettling morning, and I'm going to tell you guys about it.
For these women, what started as a peaceful escape into nature quickly turned into a nightmare.
Somebody's back here again. I hear footprints.
Because deep in the woods, the real danger wasn't the wilderness, it was who was waiting for them. Just ask Casey Johnson, who found herself in a pretty sticky situation pretty quickly. Stranger danger. Casey Johnson, a van lifer and YouTube vlogger, is out on the road with her cat, Olive.
Good morning, you guys. I hope you're all having a lovely day whenever you're watching this. If you have seen my other vlogs, you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that was a really short morning montage, because usually I would show you guys me making coffee or breakfast here in the van, and that is just not what happened this morning. In fact, Olive and I had a fairly unsettling morning, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Casey. I live in my self-converted camper van, full-time on the road with my cat, Olive.
This dynamic duo is used to van life by now, with almost 50 adventures under their collective belts. Their mornings together in the van are usually restful and rejuvenating. This time was different, however.
So just for some context, we are in a very small town in southern Utah, and we have already switched spots, but the spot we were at last night and this morning was actually a big dirt pull-off off the main road going in and out of town. So Olive and I woke up fairly early. I started working on my computer and recording some footage for the vlog, and I noticed at about 7 a.m. a black car went past us very slowly on the main road here. The speed limit is 40 miles an hour, and this car was going maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour, which struck me as odd, but they kept driving, so I really didn't think much of it. Until about 5 minutes later, the same car came back down the road and pulled off into the same lot as us and actually drove behind the van. And I was close enough to the car at this point that I could see there were two men in it. One was driving and one was in the passenger seat. And they actually went up a little road that was behind the lot that we were parked in. And they got to the end of the road, turned right back around, and then very slowly started coming back down the road towards the van. So this whole time I'm sat up here in the cab area very discreetly trying to watch what they're doing out this driver's side window. But once they got close enough back towards the van, I actually moved from up here into the back area because that is where I keep my safety items. And unfortunately, I don't have a window on the driver's side back there, so I lost my visual of them, but I could hear that they pulled their car up right along the driver's side of the van, and they actually honked their horn at us. Which, of course, I ignored. And after I didn't respond to their honk, one of them got out of the car and came up and started knocking on my driver's side window. Which I also ignored. And just to clarify, this was not a police car, this was not a security car. These were just two dudes in a car. So a couple minutes after I ignored the knocking, they finally left. They went back out onto the road and I watched them slowly drive away. At this point, I knew I needed to leave the lot, but I wasn't sure where I was going to go because, again, this is a small town and it is surrounded by very desolate areas. So the last thing I wanted to do was immediately try to leave town, drive out into the middle of nowhere, and have them follow me. So I was looking up on my phone options for places to go, and I kid you not, 30 to 45 minutes later, the same car comes back down the road and pulls off on a street just up the road from us. So my brain is immediately telling me, oh, these guys are up the street and now they're just watching you.
Casey then recounts her horrifying morning with two strange men and their tinted black car. While Casey never encountered the two men again, What is most important here is that while camping can be fun and restorative, you should always keep your safety as top priority, because the scariest things in the middle of the woods are almost always people. If you thought that encounter was strange, just wait until this next clip. Hidden Camp. Meet the YouTube channel Nomad Unknown, a woman who lives out of her car. Today, she's out looking for a campsite in the deep south, wondering if she should embark on a long hike. Little does she know, a hike is the least of her worries.
You ever just come across somebody and the energy is just off? That is what's been happening to me a little bit today. I'm about 3 miles in and I found this spot that I would really love to camp. But just as I was getting here, I saw somebody that I've seen twice already today. The first time I saw him, he only had a water bottle in his hand, no backpack or anything. And I saw him at the trailhead where I parked my car as I was still pulling things out of my car. And at that point, as soon as he saw me, he sort of turned around and headed back onto the trail. I've seen him 4 times, I just realized. And then I saw him as I was hiking. I had started with my pack up the trail, and he came from behind me, still with just the water bottle. And I didn't hear him at first, but it kind of startled me a little bit. So I moved over to let him go past, and that time was the first time I said, "Oh, hello." And he just said, "Hi." The next time I saw him, he was at a crossroads, and it looked like he was loading things into his car to leave. But I guess he was pulling a backpack out, because even though I didn't say anything to him at that point, I literally just got across this bridge that's behind me, and I was filming some of the wild azaleas. And there he came from behind me again, this time with the backpack on, like an overnight backpack. And I said, "Oh, hello again." I might have even filmed that, although I didn't film him. And again, he just said, "Hi." There's nothing concrete that's wrong with any of that, but it's the feeling of it. But something about the energy of this particular individual has me on edge a bit. So I was just at the point where I had seen this place and decided I wanted to camp here. And he passed me on the trail, and I was stopped, and I just stood there by the flowers, like filming them. And then I think he was out of sight by the time I came over here, but I haven't set anything up yet. I just set my pack down, and I've just been hanging out, just trying to get a feel for the place and make sure that he's not around anymore. Over to this area that I was looking across at, you see there's the bridge, you can see that, and then the backpack's right there. I was thinking I was going to camp over there, but I looked over and I saw this area here, the clearing, and I thought, you know what, that's a bit more hidden from trail. I might feel more comfortable and secure over there, so I came over. Why is there a trail cam pointing to that campsite? I don't really know how those things work. Maybe it's not visible on the camera, but like, what else is it pointing at? Okay. What the heck? Like, here's the trail cam. What is it pointing at? Putting my camera right behind. My backpack is right there. That's where I was going to camp. Like, that's an established campsite. Looks like this one is too. But what the heck is going on here? First, weird energy. Second, A trail cam pointed at a campsite? Is it just me? Or is that weird? Trail cam. Right there. Camp. Right there. I'm standing at my pack and I am looking, and I cannot for the life of me see it over there. I mean, camo, right? Very effective. Like, I've moved around, I've come up here. Like, where is it? Oh, there it is. I see it now. Okay, let's see if I can show you guys. Ooh, it's hard. Okay, maybe right here. I'm gonna try to zoom even more. It's gonna get really bad. Quality, but there it is. You can see it right there. You can see it. I'm out of here.
The further Nomad Unknown gets into the deep woods, she encounters a strange man a few times along the trail. After recounting her strange experiences with the man, seeing him not once, not twice, but 4 different times, she notices a trail camera looking directly at her camping spot. It's well hidden, but it's pointed right where she's about to camp. This is when she decides to follow her gut and get out of that area, deciding to find a whole other campground altogether. It's always important to follow your gut instincts, because you never know what people are capable of, like this next video. Van life. This is the YouTube channel called Asleep 5 Decades. She is camping in her refurbished van, living her van life fantasies. But van life is not all fun and games, as she would quickly learn.
Somebody's back here again. I hear footprints. Hello? How can I help you? It's 4:30 in the morning. I don't feel safe. Who are you?
As she's sleeping, she wakes to a loud knock and a man's voice.
So, it's now 4:57, but at 4:37, so like 20 minutes ago, I was in a dead sleep, and I was woken from a knock, like right where my head is, ironically. So I was like frozen. I looked at the time, and it was very strange to me, like who would be knocking on the van at 4:30 in the morning. So by the second knock, I believe it was second, could be the third knock, and they would knock 3 times every time. I just mustered, hello? And no answer. The person was on a bike, like a pedal bike, like a 10-speed bike, a mountain bike or something, and they were up the drive. And so I just came and lied back down and trying to register what the hell just happened, who was that, what did they want, what were their intentions, and all I could think about is they were probably planning on robbing what was ever inside the van. So I just kind of like went back to sleep, or lied back down, went back to bed, I should say. And about 15 minutes later, I hear it again, like a knock on the side of my van again. How can I help you? And they say, I got a question for you. And I said, it's 4:30 in the morning. I don't feel safe. And so I quietly got up and I went to the front and I peeked out and parked way up on the drive. All I could see is like headlights, and then they backed out and went and left. So I'm not feeling so safe, you know. I hear footprints. Hear that? Yeah, somebody was just here again 3 times now. The third time I looked out, they were walking on foot. I seen them walking, and they hid behind the tree there, and then they went to a car, the same car that was here earlier. Well, that was back, and then it backed away and left again. 3 times in one night. This time, they didn't knock though. They were just walking around. I could hear them walking around the van. But I'm not feeling so safe. Like, I'm just feeling like, I don't know.
She recounts her terrifying encounter in further detail, but she soon realizes that she's still not alone, as she can hear footsteps while she speaks. They do eventually leave, but every second feels like years as she sits inside of her van, terrified of who lurks outside.
So I come out this morning and you can see footprints. Look at this one. This is mine. I'll show you. There's mine. See? Right here. Look. Somebody spilled 2 of my water bottles right there. 8 liters of water gone, but I don't know why. I don't know why they were, look, see? And then over here, these are like literally footprints. I never go there. If I collect my snow, I go right on this path and I cross over here, and that's my spot right there. But look, they were actually, there's some more. Look at that. They came here, they were standing here, as you can see. Look at the footprints though, look at that. That's massive. See that? Like, this worries me, like, oh my God. Yeah, this has me really concerned. Nothing's here because it's all melted already, but yeah, so, oh, here we go. Here's a couple right here, there, and there. Here's.
She wakes up the next morning to find several large footprints in the snow. She ends up staying one more night, given she's already paid for the place. The men do not return, but she remarks this camping trip as her scariest yet. If you thought that was bad, check out this next clip from Alyssa Vanilla with one of the most bone-chilling stranger danger encounters ever recorded. Always watching. Alyssa Vanilla, a popular van lifer and YouTube blogger, is out in the middle of the desert by herself, attempting to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. But she soon encounters a very strange man, and things progress very oddly from there. Take a look.
I needed some space to myself. I've been in the city for a few days with doctor's appointments and stuff. I had to put my rugs back in the van because I have nails on the bottom of the van that like stick up where the seats used to be, and I can't get them out of my van because they're screwed from the underside. So I was in town and I just grabbed a pizza and then came out here. It's like, you know, I need space to myself. I want to test to see if I'll make it in courtside, but it is really hot. Oh, okay. Are you a ranger or?
No, I just live close.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of come out and check, make sure, because I know there's a lot of people that come out here that don't have a lot.
I'm fine right now. I don't know if I'll stay here, but I just wanted to check it out and see. It's pretty hot though.
Do you do this, like, is this what you do for a living? Do you like travel around or what?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah?
Yep.
So how long have you been doing this for?
I've been in the van for like almost a year, last November, so getting close. But I was traveling around in my car since 2020, so it's been a while.
So you've been a nomad for a while.
Yeah. Yes, I'm used to it.
And you're enjoying it, I suppose.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, well, just so you know, so you're not worried, I drive by when I'm here. I actually work in Colorado. I live here, like a mile and a half from here.
Okay.
And so I kind of drive through when I'm here, just checking on people, making sure they got water. I had shit stolen from my house 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I started doing that. I started making myself open to people that were out here, giving them my name so they knew who I was, so they saw my face, and you know what? It's worked for me. Nobody steals shit from my house anymore.
And what is your name?
Johnny. If you need water, I have a hose outside that runs all the time. You're willing to stop there, fill your water jugs, whatever you need. And those that I get to know well enough that I trust, they're welcome to actually come in and use the shower a couple times a week. I'm not home. My wife is. My children are. So if you need a shower, you're welcome to, come by. Probably would work better since you're a female. It would probably work better if you came by while I was there a couple of times, just so my wife gets to know you, so she doesn't think there's something stupid going on.
Right.
But if you need a shower or something, that's not a problem. But if you wanna stop by, it's not a problem.
Okay, well thank you.
All right.
But as I was filming, I heard an ATV approaching, and it was getting closer and closer, and I realized it was definitely coming to me because I'm kind of in a spot. It's not on a main road out here in the dirt. So sure enough, a guy on an ATV comes and stops by and is just talking to me about, he says that he makes rounds out here and makes sure everybody has water, I guess checks on people because he lives out here. Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
So you have a guy on the mountain up there that is watching you with binoculars.
Okay, well that's unnerving. Well, I guess I won't be staying.
Well, it's not that you can't stay. Just, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
The other side of the mountain is safer.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
He's driving a older Dodge pickup. And he told me he comes out here and offers water to people. But I would stay away from him. He told me he parks up there and looks around to see who might need water, who might need this, who might need that. I turned and looked and went, well, her camper is right in the open.
Yeah. So did you catch him watching me, or did he just tell you that he was watching me?
When I pulled up, he had his field glasses up looking this direction, and I was like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking to see if there's anybody that needs water. So anyway, he's you see that white truck? Underneath the tree?
I'm right in the tree view, so.
Alright, come out here and I'll show you. Just so you know.
Yeah, it's also just odd that there's not really anybody out here.
Get a good description of that truck.
It was a white truck.
It's white and burgundy. Honestly, I'd move to the other side.
So, I mean, I did want to stay because it's nice out here and it's quiet, but if there's somebody watching me, then obviously I don't think I should stay out here at all.
Well, that's fine. That's your choice too.
Yeah. That's really sucks. It was really nice out here, but well, at least I got to put my laundry away. It's always easier to do housekeeping out in the open rather than in the city somewhere. So just finishing up my laundry and then I'll probably have to leave, but that's okay. Do you need anything?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just drove as far as I could away from the desert BLM land. So the guy that I was talking about earlier, the one who stopped to see if I need water, came back. The thing is, after his first visit, I was not going to stay at the BLM land because I was just sensing some red flags, and maybe it's just me being paranoid, but there are a lot of people who would love to take advantage of someone like me, someone who's young, by themselves, living in a vehicle out in the middle of nowhere by themselves. So I just went with my instinct and I was gonna leave because he said that he drives around seeing if anyone needs water, but he had no water with him. He was on an ATV. And I was finishing my laundry and he came back. I saw his ATV turn towards me and he tells me that someone has been watching me. It was just weird because he said that the person who was watching me claims that they give people water who need it. That's exactly what he just told me that he did. He was just being very suspicious. And they were really, like, he would tell me something and stare at me and then take really long pauses and just stare at me. And then eventually, like, I was doing my laundry and he was just sitting there on his ATV staring at me. Like, parked right in front of my van. And I said, "Do you need something?" And he said no and drove off. It was really, really weird.
Alyssa managed to get out of the area unscathed, but it is important to understand that even though someone might seem friendly, you should always lead with your gut feeling. Camping can be fun more often than not, but always be sure you are able to protect yourselves from life's many strange strangers. If you thought Alyssa had a bad trip, this next channel, called The Abandoned Camper, decides to camp next to an active cemetery and gets a little more than she bargained for. Cemetery Scaries. After setting up camp and feasting on a plethora of snacks she brought, the abandoned camper is ready to explore the bizarre graveyard grounds that surround her campsite. Things begin to get pretty freaky pretty fast, however. Just watch.
This is an active cemetery, but there is a part of it that is abandoned. Those dogs are barking at me. I'm probably the only one that's here at this time. They're going crazy. It's so dark. This one is still in remarkable condition from the 1800s. It's a have raccoons. So if you can't tell, it's pretty dark here right now, but there are kids here, like young kids in the cemetery. And I'm wondering how active this place actually is. Do people come here at night and kind of party in the forest or something? Anyways, I'm heading back to my spot. That dog... Here. Let me see what I've got going on. Hi. The dog barking, I didn't want to disturb anybody, especially since I'm not supposed to be here. So I think I'll finish my exploring tomorrow morning. And because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See? Hear them? I think they know I'm here. That's not good. I'm gonna keep this recording. Oh, I can see them. Maybe they're just walking through. Hopefully. Okay. I think they're gone. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm packed up. I'm ready to go. So, luckily I have a friend that lives around this neighborhood, so maybe I'll just go continue this night in their backyard because I was looking forward to having a nice night. And there's still people here. I can barely hear their voices, but they're like way off in the distance. And there's the occasional dog bark. That dog that was barking at me, he keeps barking.
After feeling like there's just too many strange people around, she decides to pack and move all of her gear to her friend's house and have a staycation camping situation in her friend's backyard. While her circumstances didn't seem dangerous, you have to applaud her for knowing her boundaries. Cemeteries aren't the first place on top of people's camping destinations, probably for good reason. The next video we're featuring will have you questioning just what really lurks in the woods. The noise. Avery Jones, a popular wilderness camper and TikToker, is out in the middle of nowhere in the Costa Rican jungle when she begins to hear rather strange noises lurking around her campsite.
Y'all, I just woke up. Listen to this. What the f is that noise? Sounds like the chupacabra. Or Bigfoot. Like he's angry. Do monkeys in Costa Rica wake the whole town up with these noises? What the f is that? This is the most terrifying sound I've ever heard.
Later, Avery is unable to sleep because the strange noises have gotten even louder. She's decided to leave her tent and try to find the source of the noise.
What the is this noise? Listen. That is not an angry dog. What the is that? It's been making that angry noise for an hour now. And it just gets closer and closer. What the It's like Godzilla is here. What is that? The chupacabra? I've got no sleep tonight. And I almost fell asleep. And then I started hearing that noise. And it's like right across the street. I'm so glad her place is fenced in, but what the is that?
Even though she provides a list of all the supernatural creatures it could be, some commentators say it sort of sounds like a howler monkey from that region. They say they've never heard it quite that loud, however. Whatever Avery captured was enough to have her packing her bags to find a more populated area.